My name is Walters, and this is YORX on the Tube. Okay, procrastination is now over. I have been thinking of doing this thing for over 5 years now, and now is the time for me to start. What that is doing this, starting my YouTube channel. First of all, let me just tell a little bit about me. My name is Walters. I was born the 11th of September 1983, and I grew up in Jamaica. More specifically, I was born in the old capital of Spanish Town in St. Catherine. Grew up basically near the edge of St. Catherine and Clarendon, in a little town called Odals, which is just outside Old Harbor, which is basically the hub. Now, I went to a few high schools, and when I say a few, I mean 2 high schools, and then I went to Northern Caribbean University. I studied communication studies, or media communication studies to be more specific, and I graduated with my bachelor's in 2016. But I started enrollment in 2004. More on that later. Now, my interests are wide and varied, but that's part of the reason why I started this channel. I started this channel to showcase my interests, which included music, singing, sports, and entertainment. And more specific in sports, I am a huge football fan, and that's both versions of the game, which is the one that some people call soccer, and also NFL, mainly NFL. North American football, yes, but mainly NFL, even though I live in a city that is currently the champions of Canada, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Go Blue Bombers! Anyways, in addition to all of that, I was kind of drawn into singing through church, and the church that I attend, I'm a part of the denomination of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is more so a Judeo-Christian religion, but more on that later. I am the third of 3 children. I'm the wash belly in Jamaican terms. More on that later as well. But I am a husband. I'm a father with 1 child so far. At the time of this recording, she was 20 months old. 19 months old. Yeah. This also has a lot to do with trying to give relationship advice, or just general advice to my children or child. One of the reasons why this channel was being done is to also speak about current stuff. Now, this is actually the second one that's being recorded. Why? Because at the time of this recording, the first one, while it was being recorded, something very momentous was happening, and that was the interview between Trevor Noah and reggae artist, reggae legend actually, Buju Banton. Yeah, Buju Banton is a popular artist in Jamaican culture because his repertoire, or his music, spans over 3 decades actually. And he has songs ranging from Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. I can't mimic Buju very good. To his, probably I think his most famous song, which is Driver! Don't stop at all! In addition to all of that, shortly after Driver was released, he was then incarcerated in a North American prison. But I bring up Buju because the way how Buju brought himself across is very different from how some people would bring themselves across. You know, someone who is, first of all, incarcerated, from Jamaica, a Rastafarian. Because most of the time, when people think of people from Jamaica, they think, oh, they don't speak English. So if they're speaking regularly, then you have to subtitle them. And I, for one, am someone who kind of get offended when I see people speaking Jamaicans, when I see Jamaicans speaking English and they are being subtitled. The other thing is someone who was incarcerated. Now, you would think that someone who is incarcerated is someone who would have somewhat of a chip on their shoulder, and he didn't sound or look or put off any kind of vibe like, you know, I'm against the system, I'm anti-system, system is corrupt, XYZ. No, and also someone who is Rastafarian. Usually, when people say someone who is of the Rastafarian movement, they would be speaking a lot about Haile Selassie and Rastafari and all of that. However, he wasn't like that. Actually, he was more so, he spoke about God and his thankfulness to God, and also he was preaching a lot of love and peace towards the human race, and that is actually what he was calling for at the end of the interview. Now, before I go any further, this video is brought to you by Walter's Weddings. Now, when you're getting married, I'm sure that you'd want to have your day immortalized, because even after the food, even after the venue, the one thing that you would like to immortalize are your memories. Now, Walter's Weddings is a full media service which offers photography, videography, live streaming, and even drone footage of your wedding. Walter's Weddings, the complete wedding media company, is also an international company which spans from as far north as Canada and as far south as Trinidad and Tobago. Wherever you are, we will come to you and we will do your wedding. Walter's Weddings, your day, your way. Just check them out at www.waltersweddings.com. Now, I bring this up because Buju Banton shows what it really means to be converted, and also just to be nice to our human race, because who knows, maybe someone might have either spoken to him in prison, or he himself, through meditation and prayer and talking to God, could have had that conversion process himself in prison. But also, he shows what it is like to really be nice, genuinely nice to people. And that is something that I would like for us to look at, because you've heard it said many times that nice guys finish last. I actually would purport to you that actually nice guys don't finish last. They're just running a different race. Whereas the rest of the world is running a rat race whereby it's a first one to the bottom that wins, whereby, and I'm talking to the young men now, whereby you are considered a player or a baller because of the amount of women that you have. I would put the impetus on us to not be that guy. Do you really want to be that guy? I would also put the impetus on us to truly seek and know what it is to be a nice person. That is basically the moot point of why I started this channel. I started this channel to show you that you can still be a nice guy, but still enjoy yourself cleanly and wholeheartedly. This is Yorkwin. You've just watched the first episode of YORX on the Tube. But before so, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, YORX on the mic, I'd like to thank you for listening. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And I would encourage you to be nice to someone today. And now it's time for Favorite Songs with YORX, the part of the show where Yorkwin sings one of his favorite songs.